Hi, this is Teacher Fikri, and today I'm going to present to you about visual perception integration. So let's go. So in this agenda, I want to talk about four things, which is theoretical approach, and then strategy one, strategy two, and strategy three. For theoretical approach, there are three things I want to talk about, which is developmental, neurophysiologic, and compensatory. And strategy one focus on the infant for visual perception intervention, and also for strategy two for preschool, and then strategy three is for elementary school. So theoretical approach, there are three theoretical approach that I want to talk about, which is developmental, neurophysiology, and compensatory. So let's start with developmental. So concept of higher skill evolve from integration of lower skill. For example, uh, when we have the lower skills such as feeling object, feeling shape, and all that, and then it can evolve into a higher skill, which is adaptation. So when we touch different types of shape, we know that this is a triangle, this is a square, or this is a circle, regardless of changes in texture and form. So this is an example of developmental where it comes from having all the slow skill being combined together to form a higher skill, which is adaptation, the highest one. So yeah, next is neurophysiology, which is importance of postural stability for oculomotor efficiency. So have you heard that people, teacher especially, keep saying that sit sit properly or duduk betul-betul, duduk atas kerusi macam ni, badan kena tegak, because that when it comes to posture stability, it also affect on how we visualize everything or how we see things. So when we sit properly like this with good posture, so attention comes in. So when attention comes in, it's easy for us to focus on the things that we need to focus on. For example, in school, you need to focus on the whiteboard and what did the teacher write. And then for compensatory, which is a classroom material or instructional method modified to accommodate child limitation. For example, instead of having this so many material, just make it simplest form, like one page, but not too fully packed, so that they can have better visualization when it comes to doing homework and stuff. Because too many things equals to overwhelming for them. So yes. So intervention strategies I want to talk about infant, preschool, and elementary school. All right, for strategy number one, which is infant, which is the first one is dim lighting, allows newborn to spontaneously open eyes. So when they are able to open their eyes, they can able to see things clearly, right? So when you can see that in the hospital also, in the place where baby were seated or were warded, they always close the light to make sure that the baby is always open their eyes. If they close their eyes, their ocular motor would not be developed properly. So, and then next is use human face as first source of visual stimulation. For example, why do we give the infant to the caregiver so that when they see their caregiver, they feel more calm, they feel more relaxed. If they see other than caregivers' faces, they tend to uh, show fear of scare, cry in terms of being feared. Because I don't know this person and I cry. So that's an example of it. And then next is strategy two, which is preschool. Multisensory approach with young children that struggle with shape, letter, and number recognition. So as you can see, when it comes to hearing, multisensory approach is not just touches, but overall sensory that we have and how we can adapt to it, to our surrounding, and how we can able to learn and visualize. For example, if you want to learn about the key, of course, you first need to touch first, right? So when you touch, you understand the structure of the key. It's having this pointy shape, and it sounds matter sound. So this is multisensory approach for them to understand shape, letter, and number recognition in a preschool. And then different activity that develop body in space concept to improve spatial discrimination. This is an example. One of the game that we tend to play during our school time will be Simon Says. So this is the example thing. So they can learn how to imitate other people. And when they are able to imitate other people, this is also for them to be able to learn social cue. So it comes back to how important this visual perception towards everyone, including us. If we cannot understand and imitate these people, how can we ever understand social cue in every single situation that happens in our daily life? Next is strategy three, which is elementary school. There are nine strategies that when it comes to elementary school, which are organized environment, visual attention, visual memory, visual discrimination, decoding problem in reading visualization, learning style, and visual motor integration, and last but not least is computer. Alright, let's start with organized environment. So, when it comes to organized environment, the first thing that comes into your mind is in the class, right? In the class where we need to, a proper height of chair for them to able to see. Kalau terlalu tinggi apa jadi dan kalau terlalu rendah apa jadi. This is able for them to, for eyes to work together by stable posture. When they have better posture, they can able to have great attention and great focus and great visual perception. And then limit child's peripheral vision with Carol. Carol is something like kalau kita dekat sekolah dulu kita ada this dekat mama computer, right? There's this one macam kayu pun ada dalam computer and then we just focus here. So here's the thing. The lesser the distraction, the better their visual perception. If there are so many things in their eye, how can they even focus to the one thing that they focus on, which is uh, to the teacher's teaching. So remove or limit as many things as possible in their vision so they can focus on one thing. And when they can focus, better attention. Next is visual attention. So placing black mat larger than worksheet underneath. For example, let's say I have this paper yang atas dia adalah worksheet. Tapi there's too many words, I cannot focus. So putting black mat larger than worksheet letak atas ni tapi bukan tutup sepenuhnya, just open this one line so they can focus on one thing. This can also help them to improve when it comes to doing homework and stuff and to learn better. Because too many things is very overwhelming for them to just see so many words, but I don't know where to begin. I don't know why, and because of that, I don't want to do this homework anymore. So that's an example of it. And then reorganize worksheet. So worksheet, bila kerja sekolah, mostly sangatlah mumble jumble. So make it very specific, very focused. Less is more. That's the thing. That's the keyword. Less is more. Instead of more is good. No, it is less is more. Kurangkan so they only focus on the thing that they need to focus. Alright. And next is visual memory. So memory strategies such as what is this? Okay, what is this? This is a phone, a mnemonic device, and this is an example of it in elementary school. They need to, in order for them to understand things, they need to see and memorize. When they're able to memorize, so they can understand the subject better. For example, what is the what is one plus one? So with visual memory like flashcard, one plus one equals to two, and then we ask them again, what's one plus one? Two. So that's an example of it. Next is visual discrimination. We teach them to scan or search picture visually in front of the child in the value of looking and finding meaning. So an example of visual discrimination that kita boleh buat ialah, find five items that is not in the first picture. That's an example of it. Where is the kettle? That's cat. This is help them for them to just discriminate to one thing that they need to focus. Because an example of visual discrimination that we do in every single day life, we want to find that our very special, specific mug when we want to drink coffee. So you need to discriminate in all these cabinet like, oh, where is my glass? Oh, there it is. So that is the focus and attention and visual perception that we did in our daily life, and this is important for them as well, for the children. So decode problems in reading, multisensory approach such as alphabet serial. As I mentioned before, sensory approach is very helpful, especially when it comes to people who are a kinesthetic learner, which we will touch later on, who learn from physical movement. So alphabet serial such as touching A and then eating A, they will remember A. So if they want to read. So with this multisensory approach, they are able to recognize alphabet and then words and then finally sentence. So this is one of the way. When they touch, they remember. When they feel, they remember. So this is one of the things that helps them to decode problem in reading. And next is visualization, which is picture something that they can feel or touch. Imagine you want to ask the kid to imagine an elephant because they never feel or touch it. So how can they even visualize it? How can they improve their visual perception? So we can ask them to picture something that they have already touched, maybe cat. Okay, pictures of a cat. So this helps them to form image in their mind, so enable to them to know that even they heard the word, they can still visualize it in their mind. What happens if they cannot visualize in their mind? So they don't understand why cat is cat. Okay, cat is four leg, but I cannot imagine how the four legs looks like, and etc. etc. And then next is learning style. This is an interesting thing. Learning style. We have so many learning style. Not really so many. It's just three, which is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. As you can see that if you know what is your child's learning style, it's easier for them to improve their visual perception. Let's say if your kids are a visual kind of person, so you cannot simply say pergi ambil remote, but they cannot visualize how remote looks like. So with visual prompt, show the image of remote. Ambil remote, ni remote. So they know of the oh remote macam ni. So look at it and cari. So that's an example of learning style. For kinesthetic learning, it's a physical movement. So they try to, alright, because of physical movement, they have better muscle memory. So their muscle remembers that, oh, I remember touching A looks feels like, and I remember it's an A. That's an example of it. And then next is visual motor integration. So when you're able to integrate all those multisensory approach into, let's say, handwriting, is our learning style. You are a kinesthetic learner. So you need to touch, feel, dance through it. And then with that, it can help you to write better because you have the muscle memory as I mentioned before. You can write it better because your muscle remembers how it feels like to touch A and how is it feel like to write A. So that's an example of it. And then last but not least is the computer. So as you can see, not just computer, iPad also, this is a very motivational device for them to improve their visual perception. Because nowadays we have so many videos or things that children can learn about reality, which is learn about animal and how does it sounds like. So this is an example of it that helps them to improve visual perception. And then helps changing background color to enhance perceptual skill. Uh, it's important to know what kind of color that helps them to get focus to learn. For example, if you want to read notes, but with white background color, you feel more headache and overwhelming. So what kind of color that helps them to just focus on the notes that they need to read? And in conclusion, visual perception is very very important. Imagine if your child cannot picture this cute little cat, it will be very sad actually. So this is why it is important for parents and also for therapists to always watch out or always to observe how these kids develop visually so that it doesn't interrupt their academic abilities and also in daily life routine. So that's all from me. Thank you.